My ambitions are quite open right now. I'm just really taking it day by day throughout the first week, and seeing where I sit after that. After that, then I think when I'm healing, when I'm pain free, and we'll take it from there. But first and foremost, I just want to have a good race, and I want to be here for a reason. I'm not going to be sitting here and just be pack fodder. There's no way. I mean, I'm going to be here. I'm going to do my best either in the mountains for general classification, or I'm going to do my best for my team, be it going for stage wins for myself or for helping Tyler for the green jersey, stage wins for Zabriskie, Miller, Moscon. There's a lot of different cards to play. We aren't the Garmin of 2008, and so it's nice to have a lot more cards to play this year.
Being top 10 twice last 2 years, you're not a rider that's going to just sneak away from the favorites. I mean, does that put you in a bit of a tough spot, especially coming off an injury, knowing that you're going to be marked by all the GC guys as well?
No, I mean, I'm talking about if I'm like really far back for stage wins and things like that. But yeah, no, I don't expect anyone to let me go up the road. Like, I'm not going to feel pity for me and say, "Oh, go ahead, go take 15 minutes." But no, I don't expect that. Yeah, I'm not downplaying it at all. I'm very respectful for the stage, and I have a lot of fear for that stage, just like everyone else does, and just for various reasons. But I can only do as good as I can. I just try to, as best I can, to be at the front and go as fast.
It always helps in these kind of stages, doesn't it? If you're a little bit more heavy, a bit.
Yeah, a little bit more robust, of course.
So how do you think Alberto Contador should fare?
I really don't think he's going to be that bad.
Right.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to. He's not going to be the best, of course, and it's going to be the worst for him. So, yeah, to see him suffering like that, it would be different to see for most spectators. They're used to him being graceful and easy on the bike, and actually Andy Schleck will be really good on the. I think he actually enjoys those kind of those cobblestones and things like that. But yeah, I mean, Carlos, actually Cadell will do quite well across it. Basso might have a hard time getting up there. Kreuziger will be fine, but so it's very mixed bag. Lance will love it, So yeah, I would say it's definitely a mixed bag for the GC guys as far as getting. And then you have the team. Then there's going to be the domestiques going back for the teammates who missed the splits. But then there's going to be the guys attacking forward, like the specialists like Fabian and Martin and things like that. So it's going to be
all over the place.
It's going to be all over the place. It really is. It also has a chance of almost equaling itself out at times also. Yeah. So we'll see.
Just sort of your impressions on the route in general of this race, in terms of the three summit finishes, in terms of the long time trial at the end, and what do you make of this tour compared to other races you've done, and what sort of rider does it if it does suit one kind of rider versus another?
It suits as a very consistent rider this year more than anything. I mean, you have to be on all tour long this year. You don't have a serious downtime with the transition in between Pyrenees and Alps. It's it's gonna be really long Tour de France this year for a GC guy, because you have so many obstacles to go over that you can never really let your guard down too far.
And what about the sort of, instead of two TTs, one TT and a long one at the end? I mean, does that suit a guy who can come off the Tourmalet stage in pretty good shape, versus a guy who can maybe isn't such a strong climber and could take a little more advantage earlier on in the race?
Yeah, for me, I always like to break it up with the TTs. I mean, that's me personally, just because I feel a little bit more at home during the TT. But so I would prefer more, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people who perform more. But I think that TT is almost not even going to change that much at all. I mean, unless people are just completely destroyed and on their knees, which is also a very good possibility. After that last week, it's going to be really rude, I believe. But what is it, 52K, I believe, on the flat road and it could be windy. It could be a very, very long hour in for some, and it could be a good day to take out 3 or 4 minutes from your adversaries.
And one more question. We've seen a lot, it seems like on Versus, and I was looking at the papers yesterday where they're really, Eurosport, they're really making this up as Armstrong versus Contador at this tour, and obviously that makes for good media. But, how realistic is that from your sort of viewpoint in the Peloton last year and what you've seen this year, I mean, how much of is that really going to be the case in terms of the way the race is contested out on the roads? I mean, with all the other favorites, is that sort of just a media generalization, or do you think that's really going to be the dynamic within the race?
Yeah, I think that's immediate generalization. I don't think that those guys are just looking at each other, because if they are, in fact, looking at each other, they're pretty much just taking themselves out of the race. There's so many other good guys who are here that could take advantage of that situation if that would be true. So I don't see that happening.
I was just thinking, so it was 2 years ago that you were left off the Tour team, correct? And then last year you came to the Tour, sort of unproven at the Tour, and you were there in the sprints. Is it a bit of do you feel like a vindication to finally come to the Tour with a bit more of a lead-out team, or something built kind of more specifically for you at the world's biggest race?
Yeah, I think it's a progression. In 2008, I hadn't proven myself in racing at the highest level, so we came to the Tour with different objectives, and I wasn't included. Last year, I proved myself in the Giro that I was close, and they brought me to the Tour. I was also close, but hadn't really won yet. And then the progression continued after the Tour last year, and that's when I started really winning a lot of races, and the team kind of got interested and really started to believe that I could win possibly a stage at the Tour also. So far this year it's been a pretty good season, and I've come here with a lot more support than I ever have before.
Maybe you could just kind of break down the lead-out train that's here at this race for you in terms of who goes from 2K out or a K out, who goes from 600 meters, and who's the last guy for you, just sort of sequentially, if you could.
I think every day it'll be a little different because you have to kind of custom tailor it to the run-in. But, Dave Miller's our longer range guy. I guess I should go even further back. First it'll be, we'll be riding on the front all day to make it a sprint. And then, we have guys like Martijn and Johan who can roll in the last 10K. They can go pretty fast. For the true lead out itself, then it'll be probably first Miller, who was doing a really good job from about 2K out in the Giro, and then probably Robbie and then Julian, or Julian and Robbie, maybe depending on how the run-in is, how everyone's feeling. But I certainly have spent the most time with Julian, so he's the one I'm really comfortable following in the last few hundred meters.
Yeah. In terms of the first week of the race, which stages are you sort of eyeing as potential field sprints? And maybe you could just talk specifically about stages 2 and 3, the sort of the mini Liège and the mini Roubaix.
It's gonna be an interesting first week with first the stage from Rotterdam to Brussels down the coast could be pretty dicey if it's windy for the GC guys. It'll make it really nervous. And then the mini Liège day will be not a day for me, but an interesting day in itself. And then the mini Roubaix day is going to be chaos, I think. Everyone's going to be trying to ride the front over the cobblestones, and the GC guys aren't really used to riding on them, so that could shake things up a little bit. But really, I think as a sprinter, in the first week, every stage has the potential for a sprint except the mini Liège day, so there will be a lot of opportunities.
And for that stage on the cobbles, for a team like Garmin, where you've got a guy like Christian who's a GC rider, and then yourself who, not only a sprinter but a strong classics rider as well, how will the team approach that stage? Will it just sort of divide if you guys really watch out for Tyler and if you guys really watch out for Christian? Because it's sort of two maybe a little bit opposing objectives there, where you could be a guy for the stage win that day, and yet you don't want to leave Christian in the lurch as well.
Yeah, it's that'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because it is really important for us to get Christian through without losing time. But we also have myself, we also have Martijn and Johan, who have both been top 5 in Paris-Roubaix here. So we will have to split the team a little bit. Some guys to take care of Christian, but I think some of the guys are also going to need to go for the stage win, because winning stages is always important, and I think we have a team that can be one of the best on that day.
One last question. You talked about the progression from last year's Tour de France. If you had to look back in the last 11 months, which victory has been the sweetest for you since Paris last year?
That's a good question. I think probably Hamburg still, because it was such a breakthrough for me. That was really fantastic. But every victory is special. They never really come easy in pro cycling, so everyone's pretty nice. But yeah, I think for the moment, Hamburg is still one that really feels like a big deal to me.
Yeah. And winning a stage of the Tour would give you a stage win in all 3 of the Grand Tours, let alone just the fact that it is a Tour stage win. How important is that to you in terms of sort of completing that and finally having that Tour win under your belt?
That's the Tour's as big as it gets, so obviously that's always fantastic to try and win there. To have won in all 3 would be pretty special. Not so many people have done it. I think Zabrisky's the only other American who's ever done it, so it would be pretty cool. Hopefully it'll happen this year, and if not this year, I'll be trying again next year.
Third Tour de France for Garmin. What is the significance of this tour for this year's team?
Well, third time's a charm, right? The first 2 years we weren't able to win a stage, and I think maybe this is the year that we finally pull that off. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
The team's bringing in kind of a two-tier team in terms of having part of the team working for Tyler in the sprints and then having the GC option with Christian.
Yeah, for sure. The team we brought is definitely it's set up around Tyler. But with Christian, we've got our wild card, and we hope that he's healthy and ready to take on the GC. We're not going to know the answer to that until a little bit later in the race, but the hopes are certainly there.
Where does Tyler rank now in terms of sprinters? Last year he came in as kind of a GC Grand Tour rookie. Now he's top guy in the bunch.
Yeah. It's hard to rank sprinters. Listen, I think Tyler's a lot stronger, a lot faster. Well, I know he's a lot stronger and a lot faster than he was last year. He's been hitting 70k an hour coming off the motor and in motor pacing, and he looks good right now. So whether or not that translates into a bunch of wins in the Tour, I don't know. I guess his competition is certainly going to be better in the Tour than it was in the Giro, but we certainly have high hopes.
Question about the time bonuses. Do you think that it's fair not to have the time bonuses even perhaps in the first week where the sprinters don't have a chance really to get the yellow jersey?
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, that there's no way that, Tyler can do a good prologue, because he's a pretty good prologue rider, do a good prologue and then chip away at it and get some seconds, get the yellow jersey. But end of the day, I understand the decision of Christian Prudhomme to keep the race as pure as possible and to basically just say the time is what the time is. I understand the philosophy behind that decision. It'd probably be a little bit selfish of me to be, asking him to put time bonuses back in.
Final question, who's going to win this Tour de France?
I don't know the answer to that right now. I would say ask me that question the morning of stage 4 and I'll tell you.
So that's that decisive of a stage, you think?
Well, I just think it sort of eliminates a couple people. Whether or not it's decisive, I don't know, but I think it eliminates a couple. I don't know who it'll be, but it'll eliminate somebody out of the GC, no doubt.
You?
It's sort of we're going to approach it with a certain tactic to begin with. And if that works from the get-go, then that's what we're going to try and do, like every stage. I think you have to take into account, like looking at the stages of the Tour this year, and after the prologue, the first stage straight up probably definitely be a sprint. But that sort of like the rhythm of the first week is going to be broken up a little bit with the second stage finishing down in the Ardennes there, and then the cobble section. So. It's going to be a little bit more difficult than usual, I think, just to find that the rhythm and the cohesion within the team. But certainly we've got some very, very good horsepower for the lead-outs, and I think that we're going to have a lot more options than we've had before.
And what about you personally? It seems as though, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems as though this year has gone better for you than the last few years. Like maybe you've found some form or some consistency or some inspiration that you haven't had in the years past.
Yeah, I think I don't think physically like I'm any better, any worse. I just think things have been a little bit more lucky in a certain few more places this year, and things are going well. And things go well once, it's easier to get them to go well the second, third, fourth time. So it's been good in that regard, and then hopefully we'll try and carry that on through now for the tour.
Well, I don't have pain. it's very important for the beginning of the race, and well, I don't feel 100% in this moment because the training during these 4 weeks was not as intensive as I expect or as I needed for being in the best shape for the beginning of the Tour de France, but I don't feel bad. And I think that, as Jean-Paul said, we have a nice team, we have Thor, and it's a strong team for the lead outs. And I think that in my side, I want to go day by day and know how I feel. And also we have really good riders in this race and who beat me last year. And I think that who need to control the race a little bit more. And for me, from my side, I want to go day by day and feel my feelings again and see what's happening.
Yeah, I did the classics with a bit up and downs. With been a bit sick and a bit injured, so I really look forward to start on zero. And then I unfortunately crashed and broke my collarbone, so I had to start back on zero again. And it worked quite well. I could start training after 6 days off the bike. And went into Tour Suisse. It was really hard the first part of Tour Suisse, and then I became much better by the end. And so I got a really good feeling end of Switzerland. And last weekend I won the national championships, which was really good, hard course. So it showed that I was strong and back in form. So it's important 1 week before the tour starts. So I'm feeling confident and ready to go for stage wins and hopefully green jersey. I think he one day will be, but I think we still have to remember he's a young guy who need time. His first time he's in Tour de France, and it's not that easy. But the potential for sure he have. But I don't think he wants that pressure today, and I don't think he deserves it also. But I'm sure that one day we can see him with a green jersey. But he's also on a team where they maybe or for sure go for the overall. So I think he also have a job to do there.
Yeah, it's a question for Thor. Thor, last year at the Tour, you had a pretty good rivalry with Mark Cavendish, and we all saw the crash at the Tour of Switzerland. Couldn't help but think back to your incident with Mark on stage 14 last year. From what you saw of the crash at Switzerland, is there any one rider to blame? Obviously, it took out your teammate. What's your opinion on that crash?
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't strong enough to be in the front, so I didn't see it. But I don't know whose mistake it was. But anyway, I think it's. I think we just have to start with on zero here in Tour de France, and that we go for start full gas on the prologue, and then we go into this. Stressful days beginning the race, and then we see what happens. But I don't want to blame anyone for this sprint. But I have my opinion, but I keep for myself.
Question for Carlos. The Pavé stage 3. What's your opinion of having cobblestones like this in the Tour de France, and what kind of experience do you have racing in the Pavé?
I don't have so much experience yet, but this year I think that I will take a good experience after the white roads in the Giro d'Italia, the beginning in the Netherlands. It's I think it's spectacular. We saw the Pavé a couple of times, or I saw a couple of times. I didn't before, but it's for everyone. The same thing will be stress for everyone. And the race is like it is, it's something like we cannot change and we cannot choose. And in that way, well, for me, it's not the best. It's the best part of the race because I had back problems and the couples with 60 kilos. It's not easy, I'm scared a little bit about it, but it's a part of the race. It's a part of the game, and for me, it's no difference,
Yeah, I did think about it after the classics. Then I had my time pro bike at home and started to prepare for the prologue. And then with this crash I had, I could not ride on the time pro bike. So I kind of I'm not that focused on the prologue. But now I'm feeling much better. So I just want to start Saturday 100%, and I will give everything I have to hopefully do a good prologue. And yeah, I just want to start well, and then see what happens. If it's top 10 or what it is, it's not too important. I just want to be ready and go give full gas. Yeah, we have a strong team here, especially for the first days, for the crosswinds, if it's crosswind, and for the cobblestones. And I would say we have almost our classic team here. You agree? Yes. Including Carlos. And also for normal sprints, of course, a couple of these guys have to ride before, but the idea is to use it's Brett for my last man, and Jeremy before, and then yeah, we have to see what happened before in the race, who we have to ride and what we have to do. And then we have Andreas. If he's not riding, he can do something. Daniel Lloyd, Conor Malavas. So if we have all freshmen, we can really do a great lead out.
I have a discal hernia in my back, and I had a lot of pain afterwards, and I didn't know if I could be ready again for the Tour de France, but now I'm ready. I don't have pain in my back, and of course the shape is not as I expect, but it's not bad, Now I need to go on the road and see what's happened, and go day by day and feel my feelings, And if I feel okay, of course I'm here for fight, and I would like to fight, I'm a fighter in that way, and I like this race, and that is the reason why I did everything for being this race.
Now you ride in the Cervelo test team. Is it a different team from the other racing teams?
No, I think that we have 9 riders, we have mechanics, we have soigneurs, we have sport directors. I think more or less everything is the same, But here we have a really nice atmosphere, and everything, is good.
I mean, the team is also about testing bikes, isn't it?
Yeah, but not in the Tour de France, No. We test different things during the season, but things that we can test on the bike.
If you can choose, what would you prefer? To make a better bike or to win the Tour de France?
Of course, win a Tour de France. If I win the Tour de France, they will have a good bike. They will sell a lot of bikes. I think it's good for all things.
So Tour de France, winning the Tour de France is in the end the most important thing.
Yeah, I think so. It's good for me. It's good for the team. It's good for my teammates. It's good for the people who love Carlos Astre. But of course, have a nice bike and a good bike and a cool bike. It's also good because people love that too.
But is there a different approach in this team towards the material, towards the bikes, towards the testing of the material? Is it different from the other teams you've been racing in?
Well, I think that every team tests new things, But here I think that we help to improve the material to our sponsors, And for them, our feedback is really important. And I think during the season we test different things, and small comments of everyone, they have a good conclusion, a good decision, and they know what way to choose, and that is very important for them.
Talk a little bit about some of the contenders for the green jersey. You said earlier you think Tyler Farrar is the favorite for the green jerseys.
Yeah, I think he showed big form all year, and he's good on when it's crosswinds, things like this, and on the cobblestone. So it's not that he's gonna get dropped on days like this, and he's often there. So if he's not winning, he's second, third, and that's what it counts for the green jersey. And also he will survive the mountains.
Who are the others? Who are the others that you're going to be watching the most for the green jersey?
Yeah, so of course Mark Cavendish, who's probably going to win a couple of stages, and probably going to be there on every flat day. So yeah, he's a rider you always have to watch out for.
Any other names? Any other big names?
Yeah, Oscar Freire. He seems to have a good year this year, and he didn't do too much in May, June, and I think he built up his form. So he can be one contender, and then you have Petaki. I think also he can be good. He's always there on every sprint. So yeah, that's the key to get the points for the green jersey. And since he didn't finish the Giro, maybe he wants to finish the Tour and maybe go for the green.
And how about you? How do you like your chances?
I think at the moment I'm not too sure because I haven't sprinted for months. So I know that my shape is good, my form is good. So that's for me that's most important at the moment. And then I just have to try the first sprint, hopefully in Brussels on Sunday. So yeah.
It's been a bit of an up and down season for you. You were down before, and then you were second in Roubaix. You were down, and then the national champion. It's maybe on the way up for the Tour.
Yeah, I've been really up and down this year. I've been sick too many times and always fighted against the form and been in a hurry to find the form. Like you said in Roubaix, I just made it, and now I was good for the national. So I think really now on the way back to some good form.
But I guess the question would be, as a former Tour de France champion, and you said earlier that you're not certain about your form, that's a very tough situation to come to this race because you'll be watched very closely by the favorites, even though maybe you may or may not have the condition to go for the win. Can you talk about that? About the difficulty of being in that position.
Well, yeah, in this life you need to take decisions. The first of all, After the Giro, I had a lot of problems in my back and everywhere because I had 2 very bad crashes during the Giro d'Italia. And in the beginning, I thought that this year I cannot be here in the Tour de France. But during this month, I was working hard with my physio and trying to fit my back again. And 1 week and a half ago, 10 days ago, and I didn't have pain anymore in my body, or in my back. And I said, well, maybe I can go to the Tour de France, It's nobody pushed me or put pressure on my shoulders to say, hey, you need to be there, I take the decision because I like this race and I want to be in this race, But well, in that moment I need to take a risk, If I start too early with the training, maybe my back is not good, and after I fuck myself during the race. And I decided to take more easy, recover my back very well, and be not in the best level, but be here, And in that way, I think I feel calm and relaxed because the Tour de France changed, life changed, and I understand that the young riders are stronger than me, or seems that they can be stronger than me, and also Lance Armstrong is his last Tour de France, and he will do everything to try to win the race. And it's not gonna be easy for anyone. And my situation is that I cannot go in the breakaways because I won the Tour de France and they don't trust me, and because I can be not easily in top 10, but I can be there, And my situation is not easy because if I want to win a stage, I need to be with the best riders, and that seems a lot of things to me. But I don't know why I'm calm and relaxed, and I want to go day by day and see what's happened. And of course, if I can fight, I will fight. It's not like I throw the towel and I'm here for do nothing. I'm Carlos Sastre and I want to do something everywhere. But I feel calm and relaxed, and the team is good. Tor is in a good condition. And when I said I'm realistic, that I'm one of the riders who late arrived to the team of Tour de France, And the team was well done for Thor Hushovd and for the lead out and for the sprint. And I want to respect that, If I feel good and everything is going as I would like, the team will support me and they will help me, But I don't feel that bad because I'm not in the best shape, or I feel strange because I would like to be better. I am like I am, and it's what I have, and it's the risk that I take for being the Tour de France. And now I'm here, and if Saturday we start, I will be more happy.
I want to say a few things just to get started. And yeah, just to make things clear. I look forward to this tour very much, and we have a very strong team here. We have worked very hard to prepare us for this Tour de France, and I think we are very, very well prepared. We have big ambitions. We have two riders in Andy and Frank that we believe that can go far in this tour. They have a strong team around them, and we have a strong team on the flat roads and in the mountains. We believe that we'll be an important team in this Tour de France. It's a team with a lot of experience and young, strong riders, and we are here to win. There have been a lot of expectations and rumors going around lately. Can you all hear me? About announcing a new sponsor before this Tour de France. Everybody who works in the business industry knows that it takes patience, and it takes a lot of work in a process like this. I have patience, and I can tell you we're working on different scenarios, but I also have to say I need to keep my cards tied into myself, because I believe that's very important. My team is informed, and today we have something to announce. We will announce it, and it won't be before. So have patience, okay? Actually, I believe that this team will go on also in the future. I'm not afraid of that. Concerning rumors about creating a new team and possibility that riders leave the team, I want to make it clear for all. But now we're going to do a tour. That's what we're here for. We won't go into discussions during this Tour de France about speculations and rumors. We have talked internally in the team, and I have talked personally with Frank and Andy. Things are clear between us. We are here as one team. We're here to win the tour together. The team have decided to make an agreement that we are not going to talk about these things during these next 3 weeks. We're here to concentrate on the race, because that's what we're here for. That we owe to ourselves, to our organization, to our sponsors, and to our fans. So please, because of that, we have no comments on all these rumors and things, possible things in the future. We're here to do the tour. And we are ready for the tour. I think we have a big chance this year. We have one of the strongest teams, if not the strongest team ever in the Tour de France. Frank and Andy, they are sharp, they're ready to go out and fight. The team is sharp, well prepared. Yesterday we were on the cobblestones, the pavé sectors in France, and I can tell you this team was flying. It's going to be interesting. And in 2 days the tour starts. And of course we hope that Fabi is ready for the prologue. We are optimistic. Everybody here are motivated to give our best. And we are all sure that it's going to be a great tour for us. Thank you.
Yes, I crashed Saturday before the Nationals on actually a small ride out with Frank and 3 tourists. So I was in the second line, and before me there was a bump in the road and I didn't see it basically and crashed down. But I was afraid in the beginning, but then you know I kicked myself together and then rode Sunday the road race and went pretty okay. Now I have a little bit open bruises on the hands, so I was a little bit burning yesterday on the pavé, but both in the hands, also on the legs, because we trained really hard. And I'm more than sure that I'll be ready for this tour. I mean, we did everything possible to be 100%, and we are. We did the reconnaissance of the pavé already after a week after Liège, and then we did the Pyrenees, the Alps, so basically we know all climbs and all downhills which we have to do in the next few weeks. Yeah, I think we're ready.
Due to the birth of Leah, my little daughter now, I didn't went to California. So the owner said, okay, no, you're gonna have a baby, you better take care of that. Then I had a longer break than Andy because he went to California. So I was alone and I had to train on my own. Then I started off with Luxembourg, where I felt very good. And then I won the stage share and finished second with a very nice plateau, like a really strong, very strong peloton in Luxembourg, which beautiful race, of course. And then to the Swiss, I was very good. I was always up there. But of course, it also, to be honest, it came like a surprise that I didn't have any pressure on. I knew that. I thought, okay, just going to do a good time trial without any pressure. And I did. Actually, I pulled out a very, very nice time trial, and I won the Swiss. So last year, the Tour de France, I had knee problems already since March last year. After Tour de France, everybody know that I had a surgery. That is good now. So yes, I think I'm better now than last year at this time.
Well, I guess we're going to be more or less happy that the race finally started. It's sort of like it builds up the pressure, the expectations towards the race, and then when you finally be on the start line for the prologue and the counting is seconds down for you, you think, okay, I'm here now, I'm back in my business, what I do best, and I can just let it go and give everything I have. We trained and waited for this moment for, you could almost say, 6 months now, to be ready for this moment, and I think we are happy that we are here. We trained and raced and try to prepare ourselves the best way we can to be at the start in the best possible physical conditions. We will have a meeting before about our tactics strategy, so everybody knows what part he has to play in our, quest to take this yellow jersey, and hopefully then in Paris we will have one on the podium, or maybe 2 and one on the highest spot of the podium.
I mean, I think everybody here probably would like to hear what you have to say about the prologue course, if you've seen it, and also about how you see stage 3 on the cobbles playing out.
Well, I didn't see the parcours yet. I think tomorrow morning the parcours will be open and make our reconnaissance, and then I can say more about it. But yeah, it's 8.9 kilometer, and I think nice distance, and I think the form is here, and the rest we'll see on, and in the end is to give everything what I have, and then we will see what is possible for sure. The race for yellow, nothing more. And cobblestones, yeah, we have seen yesterday, and it was fun. It was very funny, and I was really happy to come back in a different month, because I mean in April
was different. You have this one day, but the Tour de France, it's in a stage, and for sure it's going to be, I'll say, for people home, and they're going to look for sure and trust this stage on, because a lot of things can happen, but once for sure that we are ready, I'm ready, and I will support as much as I could this team, and then we see what's coming out.
I mean, did you ever ride the couple? We did it yesterday a couple of times, and I mean, for some like Fabian, it's going to be fun, great fun for sure. And there might be some others in the peloton that they might not have as much fun. You know, it's going to be spectacular. I can guarantee that. It's going to be dangerous, no doubt about it. It's going to be a lot of risk at stake, and I mean, you need to be a little bit lucky also, not having crashes. There will be a lot of crashes even before the cobblestones, and it's all about avoiding that. Come in good positions on the cobblestones. I think everybody want to come in the first spot, so there will be a lot of fight. We saw that a few years ago, and then we see on the cobblestones. I believe that, I mean, the first sector is coming 44 kilometers to the finish line. If the hell breaks loose, I mean, there can be a lot of difference in time. It's not a day where you win the Tour, but it can be certainly a day where you can lose important minutes. So you have to be ready and prepared and have a lot of focus. I mean, for a lot of riders, as I said, it's not going to be a lot of fun. But I assume for the spectators and the viewers on television, they're going to have an exciting race.
Well, first of all, I'm not here to fight Contador. I'm here to win the Tour, and you know, Contador, of course, is like it's the main favorite for this year's Tour. But there are many others. You know, you have to count, and I'm ready to fight everyone who wants to take my spot. You know, I want to be in front, and I tasted last year how it was to be on the podium in Paris, and of course I would like to do that again, and maybe on a higher step. And I believe with the team I have around me, and the support I get from the team, and the work I did basically from Paris last year in the head, we were already in this year's Tour, and it's going to be a hard Tour. And yeah, just to answer your question quick, yes, be ready. I'm ready.